Hi, Mr. Morgan. Thank you so much for meeting with me as a follow-up to our session the other day when you told me a little bit about the previous culture of your company and what you are trying to once again achieve. I think I have some really good ideas that you can use to implement that culture immediately, but I do want to let you know that this is part of a long-term strategy that you will need to create. The first piece of that is to actually distribute an employee satisfaction survey to quantify specific areas of improvement within the company from the perspective of the employees. The culture of family is one that's very personal and one that your employees are going to have to create for themselves. You cannot tell them how to behave or interact as a family, or even if that's the kind of thing that's going to help them perform successfully in their role. So the first thing we are going to need to do is find out what it is the employees want in a quantitative manner and how we get there by creating action plans. However, creating, distributing, and analyzing the results of the survey will take some time. So meanwhile, there are some things that we can do from management's end to get the ball rolling until that aspect of the strategy, meaning the survey, is rolled out. I have some quick hit ideas that we can implement immediately. And they are also address the things that I think you will find as important factors in employee dissatisfaction and low morale within your organization. So my predictions and recommendations are, number one, that the move to the fancier building just quite naturally called for a more formal workplace dress, and that significance of formality and boundary between manager and employee was even more impactful when you move to a corner office. That tends to indicate a clear division of labor between you and your employees, and that you are separate from them. Speaking of separation, your employees work in very similar, probably drab-looking cubicles with very little individuality or personality, but they work in these cubicles as silos and tend to think as individuals as opposed to what we would like for them to think, which is part of the entire organization. So you cannot have a feeling of family when there are distinct boundaries between managers and employees and amongst the worker population themselves. So a couple of quick solutions that you can do to rectify some of these perceptions immediately is to work with your door open when you're not on the telephone. This creates an openness, excuse me, and allows workers to know that you're in there and you're working just as hard as they are. To piggyback off that, schedule meetings in your office with your employees to discuss work-related topics. You never know what you'll be able to find out about your organization, and it will create meaningful dialogue and establish good rapport. Really important is to immediately provide an overall view of the organization so that your employees understand how their specific contribution leads to the success of your company. Once they realize the role that they play in making this a profitable company, they are motivated to continue in their role and perform efficiently. The one thing that you absolutely must implement, as in no later than tomorrow, is to encourage employees to take lunch. It is required by law, and from that family aspect, it is only compassionate to acknowledge that your workers are human and they need to take a break. This will allow some of those silos that employees feel as individuals to be broken down because they'll be able to eat lunch together. And it also provides opportunities for you to invite groups of employees to lunch. If you were to invite 10 employees a month to lunch, you would be able to meet with each of your employees twice per year. So imagine how having those kind of boundaries disappear between you and your workers will improve their morale. You also need to make sure that the ergonomic artifacts in the office, such as their chairs, that chairs, desk, and keyboards and monitors are ergonomic within the office. This will allow your workers to perform in a healthy and comfortable manner. And if your employees are happy and are not feeling as though they're sitting in a cramped, tight space or something that doesn't feel quite right to them, then naturally their productivity is going to be there. These are just a few of my suggestions that I think you can implement immediately. And I also have a couple of more that I think we should get with, but time is short, so I would like to table these other two suggestions for a later date. Will that work for you?